Hey podcaster, I'm Tim Alberg, your podcast performance coach, with another actionable tip so you can grow your podcast authority, generate leads, and convert with ease. Today's tip is choose a podcast format intentionally, not by default. One of the first and most important decisions you have to make about a new podcast is what format you're going to follow. This might even be a decision you make about an existing podcast that isn't working very well. And when I say working well, I'm talking about a podcast that isn't working well as a marketing tool for your business. So if you're an entertainment podcast, there are a lot of formats that won't be mentioned in this episode, okay? Okay, so many of the entrepreneurs and thought leaders I talk to go straight to the obvious interview style format for their podcasts. It's a default for so many new podcasters. Why? Because that's what they listen to and love. But that might be a big mistake because your podcast is not about you. Say it with me. I've said it before. Your podcast is not about you. It's for your listener. This is why it's so important to be intentional about the style of podcast you have. Before we jump into how to pick the right style of format for your podcast, let's review a few of the options in case you think there is only one option. We talked about the interview style, which most people think of as a host asking a series of questions. But there are nuances in this style. You might have a hard-hitting interview style. You might be more conversational, or you might even have a co-host with you. There is another way to deliver an interview, and that is what I often refer to as the NPR style. This is when you do an interview in advance, and instead of running it straight or with some judicious editing, you are using clips or quotes from the interview to tell a story. Think of this style like a magazine article with quotes. You are telling the story or creating an argument or position, and the guest's comments are supporting it. Take this one step further with a host and a reporter who has done the work to collect the information from sources. So the host interviews the reporter based on the reporter's research and interviews with the experts. In news radio, we refer to this style as talk tape. Yeah, I know. Audio was on tape back then. I know. Old reference here. But I love these more professional sounding styles, but they do require more of an investment because of the level of producing and production required. Be sure to ask yourself if this is what your ideal client or listener needs to see you as to be the go-to person in your niche. Another podcast style that falls under the interview is the panel. This is when a collection of hosts have a conversation on a topic. Sometimes it's one host leading the panel discussion with different experts each time. Other times it's the same people on the panel from show to show, but there is still one person who is leading the discussion, controlling the flow of the interview or conversation. There are so many options when it comes to interview styles, but perhaps the best format of your show is none of the above. A lot of entrepreneurs I talk to shy away from doing solo episodes. Often this is a missed opportunity. While having experts on your show is a great way to showcase your ability to hold your own with others in your space, and maybe even get a little bit of their authority transferred over to you, it can sometimes put too much of a spotlight on them. Remember, this is your show, so definitely consider showcasing what you know and how you show up for your clients. That's really, really important. Solo episodes should still follow a structure that serves your audience, whether you are educating them with a how-to, entertaining them with a story, or demonstrating your skills through a listen in on a coaching session episode or a case study. Make sure there is real value to the listener. Solo episodes can be mixed in with interview episodes too. You can do both, but it needs to be a part of your strategy. If you haven't given much thought to your show style, now is a good time to assess it. Is it serving your listener? Is it helping to build your authority? And is it showcasing your expertise? The most effective format for you depends on why you're podcasting. Do you want to build awareness, generate leads, or convince prospects that there's nobody else they should give their money to? The best format for you also depends on who you're podcasting to. Do they want a highly produced show that matches the high ticket price of your services? Or do they want warm and informative conversations that convince them you are the kind of person they'd like to work with? Knowing your why and your who are the keys to selecting the right podcast format for you. And when you get the right format, your podcast ROI will soar. And I hope that's just the tip you need. Providing you with a template for your format is included for those who already have a podcast in our podcast tune-up coaching program, and also for those planning to start a podcast for their business in our Concept to Casting podcast launch program. If you're still guessing or uncertain about the format or template or structure or blueprint, whatever you call it, maybe we should talk it out in a podcast coaching call. It's free. Let's talk it out. It costs you nothing. Book your free podcast coaching call by using the link in the show notes or at podcastperformancecoach.com. I'm Tim Walberg. See ya.